Hello, everybody, and welcome to this last day of our 29th Congress of International Young Researchers. Now we're going to start with the last session of speeches, of presentations. And well, as you can see, Claudia is not here with me today. I am Sergio Perez, the director of the Congress. I think that the first group that we have today is already prepared. They come from Indonesia. They are Pranja and Erlin, and their project is EFPP package, an eco-friendly and practical pharmaceutical packaging design for elderly and children.
Hi everyone, I am Prajna Wijaya, and here's my partner.
Erlin Wijaya.
First of all, we would like to thank the Indonesia Scientific Society and ICYJA for this opportunity to be presenting in the 29th International Congress of Young Researchers. In this opportunity, we would like to present our research titled EFPP Package, an eco-friendly and a practical pharmaceutical packaging design for elderly and children.
Medicines are used to treat diseases, manage conditions, and relieve symptoms. Around 94% of elderlies around the world uses medicine. Marketed medicine packaging has several issues that elderly experience, like packaging too firm, unable to remove the medicine breaks when pushed through, cavity too small for medicine to go through, and many more. The practicability issues elderly experience is also similar to what many children experience in taking medicine. Medicine packaging, like blisters, are made up of plastic ammonium foils, and they are usually disposed by landfillings, which cause ammonium accumulation in soil, and incinerations, which may cause pollution. These issues with medicine packaging might not be seen as a big deal, but in truth, practicability issues can harm children and elderly if they use inappropriate tools to take their medicine, for example, knife and cutter. And the environment impact of pharmaceutical packaging is huge since it is made up of 4% of total daily waste.
Based on the research question mentioned before, based on the research background mentioned before, the research question in this study are, first of all, what are the materials that can be used as a pharmaceutical packaging that is practical for elderly, children, and environmentally friendly? Next would be how to create a design of a pharmaceutical packaging that is practical for elderly, children, and environmentally friendly. So, the method used in our research is the LCA method, or also known as the life cycle assessment method. It is started by assessing the environmental performance of total packaging, which is by reviewing the gross material density, or GMD, the degree of filling, greenhouse gas emission, and the amount of product waste. Next would be the total distribution cost of packed product. In this part, we assess the cost of packaging materials, the cost of transport, and the cost of packaging loss. Afterwards, we assess the product quality and preservation by doing a literature research for each packaging materials. Lastly, we did a user-friendliness test by doing a qualitative analysis for user-friendliness for elderly aged more than 60 years old. In this part, we had 10 participants.
To answer the first research question, these are the results of the PET packaging. As you can see, the left side is the closed or unsealed one, and the right side is the sealed one. The packaging is divided into two parts, the inner part and the outer parts. The inner part is again divided into three more compartments where you put the medicine. And then this is the biopack inner sachet. So whenever you need to take your medicine, you just need to tear the right line, and the right side is the layouting of the nut packaging.
So mainly, the answer for the first research question is biopack bioplastic and polyethylene terephthalate. And here are the results based on the LCA, or the life cycle assessment. The first part, again, the environmental performance of total packaging. we found that the gross material density of polyethylene terephthalate is 1.38 times 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube, and the gross material density of biopack bioplastic is 1,2.9 times 10 to the power of 2 kilogram per meter cube. And the maximum degree of filling inside a biopack 3 times 4.5 cavity is 2 times 10 to the power of minus 6 meter cube. What is so great about EFPB package is that it is a zero waste package and it creates a very low or even zero carbon emission. Next, the total distribution cost of pack product. Since we are using LCA method, every test in this particular research needs to be a multiplication of 1,000. So, 1,000 kilogram of EFPB package is equivalent to 1,984,126 packages, or it's equivalent to $0.08 each. The shipping cost by the Indonesian Post, a nation-owned company, is $0.43 per kilogram of product for domestic deliveries, which means that 1,000 kilogram of EFU package would be transported if we paid $430. Next is the product quality and preservation. A biopack bioplastic our package can last for 1 year if stored in a room temperature. Biopack is resistant to air humidity. This means that the product packaging won't be affected by air humidity. Moreover, polyethylene terephthalate is resistant to water and gases. So, the pharmaceutical or medicine inside this package would be resistant to air humidity, water, and also gases. Lastly, the assessment of user friendliness. According to the 10 elderlies I have mentioned before, which is age above 60 years old, EFU package is the practical packaging for them and easier rather than other packaging.
An overview of EFPP benefits. EFPP is a more practical or easier packaging design for elderly and children with lower risk. A solution for land pollution and air pollution due to ammonium landfilling and incineration of pharmaceutical package. EFPP versus previous packagings. As you can see, there is three other previous packaging that we are now seeing with EFPP. Blisters and strips are more economically effective than EFPP, but they are made of ammonium and plastics that harms the environment in the disposal. So it is also very bad, and it has also several practicability issues. Next, there is bottle. Bottle has several practicability issues that is unlikely to be managed by elderly and children. But on the other hand, bottle is more economically effective than EFPP.
As you can see, EFPP is loose from economically, especially from the price. But I'm sure if EFPP is mass produced in the future, it might be competing with these packagings. So to conclude this presentation and our research, in conclusion, there are several materials candidates that are suitable for a pharmaceutical packaging. Out of all of it, the most suitable materials used in EFPP package is polyethylene terephthalate and biopack bioplastic. According to the data gained from the life cycle assessment method, the gross material density of polyethylene terephthalate is 1.38 times 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube, and the gross material density of biopack is 1.29 times 10 to the power of 2 kilogram per meter cube. The degree of filling inside the biopack 3 times 4.5 cavity in EFBU package is 2 times 10 to the power of minus 6 meter cube. In the whole process of EFBU package making, there is no greenhouse gas emission. Instead, greenhouse gas is reduced in the process. Moreover, EFBU package is a zero waste package. The cost of 1,000 kilogram of package or 1,984,126 packages costs approximately 152,981 US dollar, or approximately $0.08 for each. To ship 1,000 kilogram of EFU package from Indonesia by the Indonesian Post is 430 US dollar. Since EFU is zero waste, then there is no cost of packaging loss. According to the interview to elderly aged more than 60 years old, EFBB is a practical packaging for elderly.
So next is the future work. Many different Adaptations, tests, and experiments can be left for future due to the COVID-19 pandemic currently happening. Future work concerns deeper analysis of particular mechanisms, new proposals to try different methods, or simply curiosity. The following idea could be tested. First, further researches could be done to fulfill the data gaps in this research, preferably after this COVID-19 pandemic abated. Second, other forms of packaging that is more practical, sustainable, and simple can be developed. Third, a modified packaging from this that is more practical, sustainable, and simple can also be developed. And lastly, a practicability trial with larger amount of participants and wider age group, including children.
So that would be the end of our presentation. We would like to thank Indonesia Scientific Society and ICYJA for this opportunity. We hope that we can meet you in other opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pragna and Erlin. That was great, very interesting. We have no questions for you. So, well, thank you, and we'll see you this afternoon in the closing event. So, bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
Well, so here we have our next or second presentation of this last session. So this group comes from Indonesia. They are Kansa and Muhammad Sharif, and their project is Amaful, Automatic Movement Intravenous Pole, a medical instrument with automatic mobility based on computer vision integrated with monitoring system. So guys, if you're ready, you can start.
Okay.
Good morning. We would like to say thank you to committee for giving us the opportunity to present our technological innovation in this amazing congress. And we are one of the delegates from Indonesia. Now let's get started. We always believe that by giving people wonderful tools, you enable them to do wonderful things. Like on the hospital, patients must bring their own IV pole wherever they go. Based on my experience, when I went outside the room, I had to bring my infusion pole by myself. Not long after that, my hand arising swelling and bleeding occurs. Surprisingly, my infusion jam and it happened because a lot of movement that I do. I think not only me experience things like this. This incident could be happen on every people with infusion. Then what is the relation between COVID-19 and Amoful? As we know, in patient, they still have to be active so that their immunity increase and can fight this virus. So with Amoful, the chance of the patient being cured will increase. On the other hand, with an infusion monitoring system, the control on intravenous fluid can be well organized. Technology is designed in service of humanity innovation, supposed to enrich people's life to help facilitate their activity and stay healthy. Through the deep integration of hardware, software, and services, this product empower people to do their activity easily while hospitalization. We introduce you the newest Amoful.
Amoful use the color tracking method for the motion by using the special bracelet that have two colors that already integrated with the Pixie 2 and also the Arduino. Amoful will do automatic movement by itself. So this is when the Pixie detect the right color. Outside the object, there is a rectangular line as a parameter. When the Pixie already count the area, Pixie will get to the right signature. And this is on the other side is when Pixie doesn't detect any object. There is a color but doesn't match with the calibration. Pixie will never detect it.
Here's the system design of Amoful. Lca camera will detect color from the bracelet user. The resulting data will be sent to the Arduino and give command to driver motor to drive the wheels of IV pole. In addition, there's a load cell that will send data of V to HX711. After that, the data will be sent to ESP8266 and processed to send notification to the user. From the system design, Amoful will do automatic movement follow the direction where the user goes and show graph about infusion fluid rate. Here's the user interface of our application. This is the home menu for input the new patient and choose the room. Next is the dashboard profile of the patient. At this page, will be shown the graph of infusion fluid weight.
So here's the work design of Amaful. Amaful have 4 legs to keep the balance and is equipped with 2 motor DC and also 2 freewheel. On the infusion pole, there is a small electric box that we have designed to be compact and also plug and play. So if the infusion pole is damaged, we can replace the electric box easily. The main system design is the hardware design of the Amaful, which use vision camera as the input data and also will lead to track the wristband used by the patient. Then the data will be processed by Arduino to control the motor movement. Then the future system design belongs to the intravenous fluid monitoring system, which can help nurse to monitor the level of intravenous fluids from the Amaful. This data is in real time thanks to the ESP8266 that already explained as a bridge that connects load cell as the input data to the application as the output. Next up, let's talk about the advantage of Amaful. First one is Amaful is a new technological innovation in health sector that try to solve that problem on infusion pool. Patient no need to bring the IV pool while using the infusion because it can automatically follow the users, and also it has portable design that can be adjustable in height and also plug and play. Amaful also equipped with an emergency button and also a fuse as a protector in order to avoid the occurrence of bad thing related to the electricity. When the system error, the patient just need to press the emergency button, then all the system will be stopped. It also equipped with a battery indicator that can display the percentage of the battery power. Imagine, if every patient uses Amaful, it will be easier to do their activities while using infusion, and also prevent the occurrence of a connection. We put a lot of hope on Amaful to be used all over the world, so our initial goals of creating this innovation is achieved.
This brings us to the end of our presentation. We sincerely appreciate that we have had this opportunity to present Amaful to you, and we do apologize for any shortcoming. Thank you and have a great day.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. That was so interesting. We have a question. Could it be used by any user at home, or does it need the supervision of some sanitary person to control it, like a nurse or a doctor?
This Amaful can be used by every patient on the hospital. The system is automatically, so there is no need of other person to be control the Amaful. So we only need to push the button, then the Amaful will follow the patient automatically.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. That was so interesting. So we're gonna go on with the next group. So thank you for your speech and bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we are back with presentations. Now we have a project from Vietnam. The project is about practical application of photocatalytic nano TiO2 in treating contaminated water in Van Phuc Silk Village. So, guys, if you're ready, you can start.
So good afternoon. My name is Long and my name is Dan. So today we are gonna present about our research on the project using the nanoparticle titanium dioxide on wastewater treatment in our Van Phuc Silk villages. So let's get to the introduction. So after the introduction, we will have three parts: the synthesis of the sample, which is the nanoparticle iron titanium dioxide, the results, and the conclusion that we get to. So let's get to the introduction. So in Vietnam, we have quite a lot of traditional handicraft villages, some of which are the Bát Tràng village, famous for its high quality pottery and ceramics product. The Van Phuc Silk village for the weaving and silk products, and the Dongho painting village for some of the most famous painting that we use in the rural region event. So these villages, they not only contribute to our economy, they're also a vital part of the Vietnamese culture and tradition. So it makes us want to protect and to prevent the villages from suffering from irreversible damages. So which comes to the second point. It brings us to the second point. These villages are actually being damaged by the poor waste treatment technique that we are using. So in this research, we want to prevent about the solution that we hope that can become more effective and applicable in the future, so that we can use to help treat the wastewater in the Phan Phúc villages, which is the using of nanoparticle iron dope titanium dioxide.
So now move on, I will show you some experiment and also how the titanium dioxide nanoparticle work. And the first part, I want to show you about how does the titanium dioxide photocatalysis work. And as you see here, I have an image is about the water, and this is stimulated by the light of the sun, and after that, the water and also the outside is immediately converted into organic from organic pollutant into water and carbon dioxide. And the main purpose of the study is due to the titanium nanoparticle to capable of dissolve polluted wastewater in crab fish in Vietnam. And now I want to show you about how we make the iron loop titanium dioxide. In the first part, we mix two substances. Is TTIP and isopropanol, and after that we colloid contain nanoparticle titanium dioxide, and we mix this with white powder, and in the final we have nanoparticle titanium dioxide. And now, as you can see here, we have a graph to show you guys about the exterior diffraction, and the XRE pattern show only X corresponding to the anatase phase. And now, as you can see here, after we have some experiment and also some tasks, we can show you about the same image of the nanoparticle, and it's around here just about 10 nanometers. And also we have a graph to illustrate about the UV-BS spectra, and as you can see, at the iron concentration increased from 1 to 12%, both the absorption fixed and absorption H are shifted to the longer wavelength, and while the unlooped titanium dioxide only absorb ultraviolet light under 400 nanometer, or unlooped titanium dioxide can strongly absorb visible light from 400 to 700 nanometers. And now I have some application about photocatalytics, and we have a graph here to show the relation between the percentage of metal and blue left and when time passed. And as you can see, the titanium dioxide nanoparticle remove only from 20% of metal blue after 90 minutes derivation. And however, the percentage of metal blue removed by the iron titanium dioxide are about 4 to 5 times more than that of pure titanium dioxide up to 95%. As you can see here, the first highest line is about there's no catalytic or even just some titanium dioxide. The percentage of metal blue is almost 100%. And in conclusion, with our perspective, and I hope the iron group titanium dioxide stems are capable of dissolve. Sorry. The iron group titanium dioxide stems are capable of dissolve metal blue reduce the concentration up to 15 to 16% due to the fact that metal blue is the type of dye that is hard to be decomposed. We can safely conclude that iron group titanium dioxide is exciting for the purification of the river in Baku and also safe for the environment. And here is my presentation about the project name use titanium dioxide. And here is our presentation about the project name use nano titanium for waste water treatment at the craft village in Vietnam. Thank you, Sky, for watching.
Okay, yeah, that was great, guys. And we have a question for you. Where would the titanium dioxide needed to carry on with this project come from?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. Where would the titanium dioxide needed to carry on with this project come from? Where would you get it?
We get it from the lab we use in the school. Yeah. We I also So as you can see here, we will process how we make the titanium dioxide nanoparticle. Sorry, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So do you have any question?
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go on with the next group from France. And thank you very much, guys. Okay, so we're back with a project that comes from France. It is about a 100% student astronomical observatory, and here we have Hadrian and Daniel, which are gonna present their project. So, guys, if you're ready, you can start.
Thank you to invite us to your congress. Thank you to the CRST to invite us. Let's start. I am Daniel Chrétien, the communication manager of the UPS in Space Astronomy Association. We are based there in Toulouse. And so what is UPS in Space? We exist for more than 10 years now. It is based inside the campus of the University of Science in Toulouse, a university called Université Paul Sabatier Toulouse 3. We perform a scientific animation by lectures, observation of the night sky and of the sun, visits of infrastructures like observatories, for example, sharing meetings, and also great meetings we organize ourselves. Let me introduce Adrien, the president of the association.
Hi, everyone. Like Daniel said, we are based in Toulouse, in the southwest of France, in the Occitania region, land of rugby and traditions. Toulouse is the European capital of aeronautics and space. Our university is also based right next to the French Space Center, XXIX. And our observatory will be installed on the roof of a new building dedicated to associations. So you can see the models of this building with our observatory, but with the COVID, there are many delays for the start of the works, but we hope for a delivery by the end of next year. This will be an observatory entirely designed and then managed by students. It will be the first of its kind in France. So our instrumentation will be made in such a way that it can be fully controlled remotely. We will have a dome of 4 meters in diameter that will come from Italy. We will have a different telescope for specific application, the main one being 20-inch, 50 centimeters in diameter, will be from the USA. To be able to support all this instrumentation, we will use an Italian mount capable of supporting up to 150 kilograms and with an extreme tracking precision. Our observatory will be dedicated to science as well as photography. By choosing our instruments, we can absolutely study any type of object, going from the bodies of our solar system by studying their evolution through the deep sky with galaxies and nebulae, then to exoplanets by confirming their existence. We'll be able to study the compositions, the characteristics of all these objects. By carrying out this type of action, we will then be able to set up scientific collaboration at regional, national, and international level with observatories, laboratories, and university. We already have ongoing discussion about it.
Thank you, Adrien. The observatory is also dedicated for scientific mediation and scientific animation. It is in the DNA of UPS in Space to share astronomy and to encourage people to do astronomy. And the observatory will be the first time for people, an opportunity for the people to have an experimental approach. Sorry. On a practical approach of astronomy, which is very, very important for us. And for that, we have gathered a lot of partners to prepare that. The University Paul Sabatier itself, but also the Institution of Research of Astrophysics and Planetology based in Toulouse, and scientific mediation partners also, like Planet Science Occitanie and Universel, which is managed by PhD students in astronomy in Toulouse and in France. We have also 3 high schools as partners because this is our first target, first public target of this observatory, to let them the opportunity to perform real science from the high schools, and so that way they can be convinced to continue the project, the professional project, the life project in astronomy as well. What's the status of the project today? We bear this project since 2015 now. It is a 240,000 euros project, but hopefully it's a 75 to 80% fund, and we will finish our financial phases by the end of the year with a crowdfunding campaign that we will manage in October and in November this year. a bit of instrumentation has already been purchased and will be used by next year. We prepare our scientific animation with this secondary instrumentation with our high school partners. In 2022, there will be the first animations done with this instrumentation. We also prepare the management tools of the observatory and the formation, the training of the future pilots of observatory in UPS in space will be held next year, sorry, at the third quarter of 2021, but also in 2022. And finally, the delivery of the cupola and finally of the observatory itself will be is expected to be done at the end of the last quarter of 2022, and the exploitation may begin at this time at the first quarter of 2023. We have gathered a lot of personality and political support of this project. For example, the French Minister of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, Frédéric Vidal, who we support officially this project. And there is a lot of partners that orbit around our projects for many years now, on a lot of support. We thank them because they have also financial partners for some of them, but also competency partners, and they all enable us to achieve our dream is to do science in UPS in space, amateur science, but real science, and to help and to allow people to do practical astronomy in Toulouse itself by help. So thank you for your attention. If you have any question, we are here to answer.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. That was so interesting, and we didn't receive any questions, so that was great. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you to you too.
Thank you.
Bye. So,
Goodbye.
to all our viewers, we're going to have a little break of 5 minutes, and we'll be back with the next groups, the last two groups from Slovakia. Okay, we are back with the Slovakia group. Here we have with us Matus, and he's gonna present about the effect of oxytocin and autistic-like behavior in Shang mutant mice. So, oh, that looks pretty interesting. Matus, whenever you're ready, you can start.
Hello, my name is Matúš Mlynar. I'm a student of the International Baccalaureate Diploma program at Juraj Hronec Secondary Grammar School in Bratislava, Slovakia, and today I would like to present my project with the name Effect of Oxytocin on Autistic-like Behavior in Shank mutant mice. Autism... I'm sorry, but there is some technical problem. I can't move with the slide. Okay. Autism spectrum disorders, or simply autism, is a multifactorial neurodevelopmental disease that arises based from the interaction between several factors, mainly genetics and environment. As we can see, the prevalence of autism spectrum disorder has been rising throughout the years, and in 2004, every 166 child exhibited symptoms of autism spectrum disorders, and in the year 2020, every 54 child was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders. The symptoms of autism spectrum disorders are quite diverse. Therefore, it's very, very difficult to assign and to find every single symptom in all the patients. Therefore, there are three main clusters under which every symptom belong or fall. These clusters are social interaction deficit, repetitive behavior, and language and communication impairment. The treatment of autism spectrum disorders comprises three main elements. Those are learning and training techniques, psychotherapy, and pharmacotherapy. The medication and pharmacotherapy in autism spectrum disorders is mainly symptomatic. Therefore, it's not a causal treatment and can't cure the autism, but rather focuses or responses to the individual symptoms that a particular patient exhibits. Also, the treatment may be focused on the comorbidities. Those are the simultaneously occurring diseases. So, the treatment of social interaction deficit is quite difficult, and therefore, there are not many known molecules that would be able to alleviate these symptoms or this cluster of symptoms. Therefore, in our research, we focused on a molecule, on a hormone produced in our brains called oxytocin that has a variety of behavioral and non-behavioral effects. Its behavioral effects may be concluded as promotion of the social interaction, formation of partner bond and maternal bond, as well as decrease in anxiety. The non-behavioral effects of oxytocin include the modulation of inflammatory response, ejection of milk during breastfeeding, and also facilitation of the contractions of uterus prior to labor. In our research, we used a genetic model of autism, more precisely the mice that have a mutation in the region of SHANK3 gene. The mutation of this gene is found also in the patients with autism spectrum disorders, and therefore these mice exhibit autistic-like behavior. These mice were given treatment with oxytocin administered intraperitoneally in a concentration 1 milligram per kilogram. This treatment was given to mice 24 hours prior to the behavioral tests. In behavioral tests, we evaluated the behavioral effects of oxytocin precisely on the autistic-like behavior in mice. As the battery of the test we have conducted is quite diverse, I've decided for the purposes of this presentation to limit and to extract only the most important parameters assessed in the tests. So as you can see in this slide, there are two parameters assessed in the so-called open field test. The white chart represents wild-type mice. Those are healthy mice that do not deviate and exhibit normal behavior, while the black chart represents the knockout mice. Those are mice that have mutation in the SHANK3 gene location, and they received saline, so they were not treated with oxytocin. And the gray bar represents mice treated with oxytocin. So as we can see, the grooming is a kind of self-care behavior. It's a part of mice's hygiene, and oxytocin seems to affect this behavior and seems to increase the grooming in male mice, leading to a repetitive behavior that can be even that can have detrimental effects if as too frequent grooming may be damaging or harming to the mice. The other parameter, rearing, is a type of exploratory behavior. Exploratory behavior does not seem to be affected by the oxytocin treatment in any way, and as we can see in the chart, there are no significant differences amongst the group. The second test, in which we assess the social interaction, we did not observe any statistically significant differences between the groups. So when we compare the treated group to the control groups, the healthy mice and knockout mice that weren't treated with oxytocin, there are no statistically significant differences. The last test, marble barring test, is used to assess object avoidant behavior in SHANK3 mutant mice. As we can see, the results indicate that the female mice, the number of marbles buried decreased in female mice treated with oxytocin, and therefore we may conclude that oxytocin enhance object avoidant behavior in SHANK3 mutant mice when compared to the control group. However, this effect was visible only in females and not in males. In conclusion, oxytocin enhanced repetitive behavior in males and object avoidant behavior in females. Nevertheless, our study has also several limitations. The first is that the treatment was acute. In the complex disorders such as autism, it's very unlikely that a single administration of a drug or any substance would be able to alleviate the symptoms of autism spectrum disorders or even cure the disease. Another limitation is an intraperitoneal application of a drug. Intraperitoneal application is basically the administration of a drug on a periphery, and it does not provide or does not have to necessarily mean that the oxytocin was able to reach blood-brain barrier and eventually penetrate the brain. Also, the sample size was quite small in this experiment. We had only 20 mice, and the distribution in the groups, the control groups and the treated groups, were not equal. Therefore, the results were susceptible towards any shift that might have been caused by individual deviations from the normal behavior. Nevertheless, we have proposed a new model, new research on which we are currently working. In this model, we are administering oxytocin chronically for 30 days, basically on a daily basis for 30 days. Oxytocin is administered intranasally, so we assume that intranasal administration may indeed be much more appropriate, as the trigeminal nerve fibers can facilitate the penetration of oxytocin directly to the brain. We updated methodology when it comes to the battery of the behavioral test and also the evaluation of the behavioral test. So we are using, for example, social reciprocal test instead of three-chamber social interaction test with better results and according to the most recent research. At last but not least, we are using also greater sample, which is at least twice as big as in the previous experiment. To the end of my presentation, I would like to appreciate the opportunity and express my gratitude for the opportunity to work at the Institute of Molecular Biomedicine under the supervision of Associate Professor Peter Selec, Doctors of Philosophy Emma Rences and Veronika Borbeliova, as well as Master of Arts Jakub Sabo. The final words of my presentation would be would be quotation of a famous Austrian doctor, Hans Asperger, who described one of the recently most famous syndromes that is associated with autism spectrum disorders, Asperger's syndrome. It seems that for success in science or art, a dash of autism is essential. So in a case you've had any question, please feel free to ask or reach me on my email shown below.
Thank you very much, Marius. That was such an amazing project. We have no questions for you, but thank you for your presentation, your speech.
Thank you.
Thank you and bye. And now we're going on with the next project from Slovakia. Great, so we were back with the last group, the last project of our Congress, the last exposition. This is from Slovakia and it's Laura Burdova. The project is about the application of a combination of extracellular pH certification and Rotulin in the cancer cells as one of the anti-cancer therapies. So Laura, whenever you're ready, you can start.
Okay, so my name is Laura Burdova and my project is called Application of Combination of Extracellular pH acidification and Rotulin in the cancer cells as one of the anti-cancer therapies. So cancer is not no global problem. As you can see, this is the most common cause of death. The key factor to fight with the cancer is the effective and well-adjustment treatment in order for anti-cancer therapy to be truly successful. In addition to the proper use of the drug, it's necessary to adapt the condition for its intake as best as possible. As the drug use Rotulin, moreover, we adapted tumor condition by extracellular pH acidification. So as I mentioned, we choose rotavirine as a drug. Rotavirine is experimental chemotherapy drug of natural origin. Due to its natural origin, it has lower toxicity rate, much lower than synthetic drugs. So it's one of the reasons why we choose it for our project. We also expect that it can disconnect the respiratory chain, acting as an inhibitor of vital cellular processes. One of the reasons why we adjusted the condition by extracellular pH acidification is that the cancer cells are known for acidify the extracellular environment by excreting acid metabolites. But intracellular environment is slightly basic, so it means the solid tumors are more acid than healthy tissue. Our project was divided to the two phases. The aim of the second phase was to determine the IDA pH value for continued therapeutic treatment based on the morphological changes of the cells and the mitochondria. After we determined the IDA value, we move on to the second phase, and the aim was to monitor the effect of rotavirine on the respiratory change of malignant glioma cells, and also to show how the decrease of the pH will amplify the rotavirine effect. In summary, the main objective of this work was to confirm the potential not only of rotavirine as a chemotherapeutic drug, but also the beneficial effect of pH manipulation in the treatment of cancer. So in the first phase, the changing caused by pH value were observed at SKBR3 cells, which are the breast cancer cells. We gradually acidify pH to the values 6.38, 4.15, and 2.21. But in the one sample, we kept a neutral pH, and these cells serve as control. Prior the microscopy, rhodamine 123 was added to the media. If you don't know, rhodamine 123 is a fluorescent dye, which fluorescence is sensitive for changes in mitochondrial membrane potential in the living cells. In the second phase, we performed our study on Uppsala 87 malignant glioma cells, which are the cells of the malignant glioma of the brain, which is a still particular therapeutic challenge. Using the MTT assay, we try to find out whether rotavirine and the pH change has an effect on survival and cell division. We also identify antioxidant proteins and proteins of mitochondrial oxidative phosphorylation by Western blot technique. In this case, we were interested in changes caused by rotavirine in respiratory change of the cells, and also we were interested in toxicity rate of the rotavirine. So let's move on the results of the first phase. In this graph is the result of size measurement or cell size measurement. We can see how the change in pH affect the size of the cells. So in general, the cells get smaller with increasing time, in concrete 1 hour and 24 hours. The reason is mechanisms called plasmolysis, but the exception is the cells at pH 2.21, because when on contrary the size increased, we assume that cells edema has occurred, which is the symptom of necrosis. So this is the result of cytomorphology. In this picture, we can see morphology of the cells that serve as a control. So that's how the cells normally looks like. Here we can see change in the are more rounded and than the control cells, but after an hour, the shape has returned to the normal. In this case, there was a significant disintegration of the cytoplasmatic membrane. Also, the shape is very irregular. From both of these facts, we consider signs of necrosis. At pH 2.21, at the first glance, necrosis can be seen in progress. We observe mitochondria, which are the bright structures in the cells by fluorescence microscopy. We observed increased rhodamine 123 fluorescence in pH 6.38 compared to the control cells, because or due to cell size, which was smaller. Also results of size morphology. We can conclude that the cells undergo programmed cell death, also called apoptosis. So the IDA pH for continuing chemotherapeutic treatment is approximately 6.38. In the first case, we can see morphological membrane potential was depolarized at pH 2.21 because of karyolysis, rhodamine 1 and rhodamine 21 interacted with nuclear DNA. Both events confirm the claim that necrosis occurs when this pH change. It means that these pH values are inappropriate. So results of the second phase. The results of the MTT test show that the highest value of cell survival were recorded surprisingly at the pH 6.4 after addition 5 microliters of the rotlerin. But later we find out that the reason was the increase in MTT reduction of purple formazan in malignant glioma cells due to presence of rotlerin. Because of possible influence of the MTT results, we decided to study the effect of rotlerin on oxidative phosphorylation and proteins with antioxidant effects. In the picture, you can see resulting membrane of Western blot after staining with the oxidative stress defense antibody. The values were averaged and plotted as a histogram here. We recorded the highest activity of antioxidants in cells at pH 6.4. After addition of rotlerin, we hypothesized that there was an increased production of oxidative stress and reactive oxygen species due to presence of rotlerin as a toxin. So 5 complex of respiratory change are involved in oxidative phosphorylation presence in mitochondria. We were able to see an increasing of these proteins in the cells at pH 6.4 after addition of rotlerin, especially for key complex 2. So the conclusion, the results of the first phase show that we determined the IDA pH value for continued chemotherapy treatment is approximately pH 6. We also confer the positive anti-cancer effect of rotlerin by Western blot technique. And it means that our results not only confer the potential of rotlerin, but also proves the application of the pH change method as one of the way of investigation of anti-cancer mechanism. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Laura. That was such an interesting project. So this was the last exposition we have in this Congress. Thank you very much, Laura. Well, as I just said, this was the last project we've had in this 29th Congress of Young Researchers in Zaragoza. Thank you to all the participants for the projects, the amazing projects that they have talked about. Their speeches were great, and we've enjoyed listening to all of them. Now at 12:30 Spanish time, in about 20 minutes, we'll have the roundtable for leaders about how COVID has affected the organization of international events. And also, please, all the participants, stay tuned to our social media, because we'll have the trivial with questions about the event and activities, and we also upload it to our web. And finally, at 4 p.m., we'll have the closing ceremony with institutions from Zaragoza that have collaborated with us organizing this event. So we wait for all of you to connect and enjoy with us of this last last meeting of the event. Thank you, everybody, and see you soon.